Everybody, welcome back to another episode of FSI DFS Fantasy NFL Picks. I'm Mr. Mike Rowe with everyone. Doing this Sunday morning as opposed to Saturday night, so sorry it's a little bit late. So I'm going to be a little bit quick just to try to get it done and get it out to you. So, with 3 games on Sunday and the Thursday game and the Monday night game, I think we're down to a 9 or 10 game slate here. Got a lot of weather, so let's just fly through the games and we'll get you your information on your players and a couple builds and on your way for your holiday weekend. So, uh, first game we have is Atlanta and the Carolina Panthers, 33.5 total. Atlanta's favored by 2.5. It's going to be rain all day here. A messy, messy one. At least it's in the south, so it's going to be a warm, but it's just going to be like downpours. So Atlanta side of it, really don't like much. Maybe Bijan Robinson. I know Ritter, London, and Pitts came alive last week in the passing game, but the Carolina has been really good against the pass. Um, they're a little bit susceptible to the run. So Atlanta defense and played Bijan Robinson, maybe Pitts or Johnny Smith as a tight end if like you can't throw long passes, but that's about it. Carolina side, not taking Bryce Young. Hubbard it's his backfield, so he and maybe the Carolina defense would be good pairing. I'm not touching Thielen, any of the wide receivers, or Tommy Tremble, the tight end, even at 2.5. Bears and Browns, a little bit more of the same. Rain, it's going to be colder here. Winds are going to be more of a factor here. They're going to be, I think, sustained like 10 to 15 up to 25-mile-per-hour gusts. So definitely it could clear a little bit in the second half. So for the Bears, I mean, Justin Fields is definitely in play, playing better, not touching the backfield. DJ Moore's a little banged up, but he should be playing. He should be okay. He's been fighting through whatever he's been fighting through for a couple weeks now. I mean, he's definitely probable. So if you want to take a shot that it does clear up in the second half, but they're against a really good Cleveland defense, so I don't like that and commit there. Maybe the Bears defense, they've actually statistically become a top 5 defense since they got this is a sweet from Washington and really got some guys back and started to put things together. So they're heading in the right direction, kind of like Detroit was last year at this time. Cleveland, Flacco has been signed, so he's going to definitely like fill one of your contracts. So he's definitely going to be around there. They could have potentially lost him off the practice squad, so they had to do that. Running game, Ford, he's okay. Chicago's been decent against the run, but if they're going to be ahead, then he might get a lot of carries here. I don't really like Cooper. Njoku, I think you can play it. Again, it's the same situation where, like I said, with Pitts, if there's no long balls available with the rain and stuff, like short, like passes to the tight end, might accumulate a lot of catches. And I think the Cleveland defense is definitely in play also. So again, I'm not touching a ton from this game. I'm looking more running backs and quarterbacks and maybe Fields in like a GPP. Okay, this game, next game does not have weather and is actually my 5th favorite game of the week. 39.5 total. New Orleans favored by 5.5. Giants and Saints. DeVito he's looked good, especially again he was like the offensive player of the week last week. He and Zach Wilson for the Jets. Who would have known the 2 New York quarterbacks would just share that honor in the same week? Sign of the apocalypse, maybe. But Saints have been really decent against the pass, but not as much against the run. So I think Barkley's definitely in play here. I think DeVito's actually in play too, more for his rushing upside than his passing. But if you want to pair a I'd say Wendell Robinson. Like they use him in the running game also. So if you want to go like a GPP mini stack here, like DeVito, Barkley and Robinson is where I go. And Waller should be back at tight end, so there's another option. But he's 4.4 is not bad, so I'll take him. Wouldn't touch the Giant defense there. On the Saints side, not interested in Carr. Just like he just checks down too much and really just doesn't throw the ball too deep. Kamara, I thought it was going to be a smash play, but it looks like Taysom Hill's going to be back and fine, so that might eat into his goal line carries. And we'll just have to keep an eye because Olave is questionable, maybe to doubtful. So if he doesn't play, I mean, that could help with Kamara to like receiving out of the backfield. Jamal Williams, I think, is banged up also. So if he's out, then that just makes Kamara a better play also. I mean, there's some better running backs to pay up for. Obviously, I try to get up to McCaffrey, but I think Kamara is definitely in play, especially if you want somebody to run this game back. But Shaheed might be the one to run the game back if Olave's out. He's the speedster. Has he has no designation on his injury. I believe he practiced all week, so he should be good. And then I always play Taysom Hill if he's active and just like one GPP, just because he's so dynamic. He can throw the ball, he can catch the ball, he can run the ball, and score touchdowns in multiple different ways. Next up, Tampa Bay and Green Bay. Green Bay, what a letdown on Monday night, but I think they can bounce back here. Tampa Bay is definitely a pass funnel, so that should open up some opportunities for them. It's 42.5 total, 33.5. Green Bay is actually favored here in Green Bay. It's going to be cold, but there's not going to be wind anything. So yesterday I was outside, it was 28 degrees and the sun was shining. So it felt more like it was like 40 than like when the wind's blowing and it feels like it's like bitterly cold. So, you know, I think they'll be fine here. Tampa Bay, I mean, Baker Mayfield's in play. Rashid White has a great role. Evans was disappointing last week, should bounce back. Godwin was a little banged up, should be able to play. I just prefer Evans. He's just so much priority. And then Kate Otten is definitely starting to come alive and catch some key balls and in the red zone if Evans doesn't get it or White doesn't run it in. So, I mean, he's definitely the third option there. But they do think of him. Tampa Bay, if you think defense can be in play, if you think Green Bay is going to be another train wreck. But I think, Jordan Love's definitely in play. Both Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon should be available to play. Jones said that he's good and ready to go. AJ Dillon broke his thumb or something, so he's going to try to play, but that could be kind of awkward, especially if he can't hang on to the ball. I don't know how he's going to be catching the ball, so I think that just propels Aaron Jones to be a better play here. Wide receivers are all banged up. Also, Watson is doubtful. Wicks is dealing with an ankle injury. He kind of came alive in the Monday night game, but the one I really like, I actually like, maybe should say love, is Jaden Reed. Not only is he catching balls more than like Dubes. Dubes hardly did anything. I was sweating out, trying to make it into the fantasy playoffs last week, and my opponent had Jordan Love and Dubes, and they didn't do anything, which I was grateful. But towards the end of the Dupes almost caught a ball in the end zone, but he had one foot out, so it didn't count. But Reed, like he's been used like in jet sweeps and run plays and stuff like that. Love the price point, love the potential here for a cheap wide receiver. So I'm going to be playing a lot of him in cash. And Tucker Kraft, the tight end, is definitely has taken over the Musgrave role. Looks really good out there, and Jordan Love is finding him too, looks for him sometimes in the red zone. So that's another play that I'd be playing. Green Bay defense, they're okay, but not super um, big priority for me. Jets and Dolphins, 36.5 total, which seems kind of low. 8.5. Might be some rain in this one, and it's going to be windy, but the way the stadium's configured, it's like a giant rectangle on top of it, so the winds don't get in and affect things too much. Zach Wilson had a great week, 300 yards passing against a decent defense, but Miami's got a lot of their it's getting healthier on defense and getting a lot of guys back, so I wouldn't expect that again. Breece Hall, I think, is could be someone to look at here if you're taking a piece to run back the Jets, if you're doing a game stack. Or Garrett Wilson is obviously Zach Wilson's favorite target. It locks right onto him. So, I saw everybody was on him last week. I'm like, why? I don't get it. Zach Wilson's the quarterback. And then I saw what happened and I remembered, okay, yeah, he does kind of have like target lock on him. So he's in play. Wouldn't really look at the Conklin, the tight end, or anything like that. Jets D is always in play, especially if it's the Miami team that showed up with Hill banged up and losing a couple of offensive linemen, and Akanye is dealing with turf toe, so they could be vulnerable. I think that's why the total's kind of low here. It's a division game. The Jets have always played, and Dolphins have always played some pretty decent games against one another. So I think, the Jets defense is definitely in play here. Tua, I can't play him in cash. Like he just has no rushing upside. It's all for passing. And if Hill's going to be limited with the offensive line, I just can't do it. Mostert, I think I like better than a Kanye here. Mostert had the two touchdowns late in the game because Kanye was kind of starting to struggle with that turf toe, and that's just such a tough injury to just be explosive with. So I'm out on a Kanye this week. I'm not worried about the other running backs. Tyreek Hill, I can't play 990. I'd have to really decide too against the Jets defense if he's healthy. They're just so good against the pass. So Hill's definitely a fade for me. Waddle, if Hill's out, I think is in play. I don't think I'm really going to touch the other um, wide receivers or Smythe here. In the Miami defense against the Jets, I mean, they are getting healthier, they're getting better. And if you want to pay up for a defensive rather to pick the 49ers against Arizona, but I think the Dolphins are in play. Houston and the Titans, 36.5 total. Tennessee's favored by 3.5. If that's still the line, bet it because Stroud's going to be out and Houston just is just a mess here. Uh, it looks like Collins is going to be doubtful too for them wide receiver. They lost Dell. Noah Brown's banged up. Robert Woods is old. Dalton Schultz is back at tight end. Like so, it's like is it like maybe Case Keenum's going to be the starter here. It says I saw also like it potentially could be Mills. So I haven't seen any definitive word on that. Let me see if there's any more updates on it. Nope, it says that Mills is going to be the number two. So I don't know. Case Keenum has at least got some experience. Uh, but I don't know. Who knows? We've seen some backup quarterbacks come in and do well. We've seen some backup quarterbacks come in and do horrible this year. So Tennessee's defense decent. They're definitely a pass funnel. So I mean, this he could be a sleepy GPP with Brown and Schultz. So for a buck, I might do that. Not touching the running game here because it's like 50-50 split and really not super effective. And Tennessee is great against the run. So why would I even tempt fate in that one? On the Tennessee side, Will Levis, I think this could be a blowout. Um, I like Levis. I like Hopkins. I like the tight end. I think that's a nice stack there. But I think I'm going to be focusing more on the running backs because Tennessee hasn't been great against the run. Henry had a couple rushing touchdowns, even though he only had 34 yards. But and Spears is really coming alive too, and he catches balls out of the backfield. He's super talented young running back. So, I mean, I think I'm going to praise Spears. He's cheap in some GPPs. I'm going to have Henry, especially on FanDuel and Cash, and in some GPP lineups. And I think that's where I'm going to go with this one. And the Tennessee defense could also be in play here against a Houston team that just has 3 weeks ago was just like soaring and now it's like come crashing down to earth and splattered all over the pavement. Um, it's sad though. I was really thought it was a cool story. Hopefully, all the pieces get back. Maybe they can still make the playoffs and make a run. I know Dow's going to be out the rest of the season with a broken leg, but hopefully the rest of the team can put it back together and maybe be competitive. So, speaking of competitive, we have the Chiefs and New England. 37.5 total. I don't know where that all that offense is coming from. 8.5. I don't think there's any weather affecting this game, which is good. Uh yeah, no. Nothing there, maybe some sprinkles. So Chiefs, like what a frustrating team here. You're gonna have Pacheco out again, but Patriots have had a really good rushing defense, top five rushing defense actually. Um, so statistically over the last few weeks. So I'm not playing Edward Helini here or McKinnon. Mahomes, I think maybe in GPP, but if I'm paying up, I'm going Dak or Allen. Uh, the wide receiver, Rice is the only one that really does anything. Kels, it just seems like he is just not the same guy. So playing 7-6 for him, or he should probably be like 5-5. And if I'm paying up for tight end, I think I'd rather take McBride for like and save like 2 grand. and probably get the same amount of production. So I don't know. Maybe this is gonna be the smash game, but at 7-6, he just needs to get 100 yards and like one or two touchdowns, and I don't know if I can see that. KC defense, I think, is definitely in play. They've been solid this season for the most part. On the New England side, Ezekiel Elliott's going to be uber chalk. Stevenson's out. He was rushing well. He was catching balls out of the backfield. I think he had like 6 or 7 catches. So at his price point, like he can easily get like just 10 points, like just catching some balls and just with a couple rushes. So he should be there. Looks like Douglas is going to be back. Cheap wide receiver there. All the wide receivers are cheap, so if you want to pick one of them, I'm fine with that. I don't think I'm necessarily playing Zappy, and not touching the tight ends. Like Henry and Gesicki are both there, and both can get targets in the red zone. Patriots defense is my favorite defense in cash. They are like so cheap on both sites, and if Kansas City is going to be Kansas City, I can see they've been caught giving up turnovers. They have been giving up sacks, and if they just play poorly, I think for such a cheap price, you only need like 5 or 6 points out of them between like sacks or a couple of interceptions or a fumble, and you're good. Let Kansas City score 30 points, and if New England gets that, and I save $1,000 and get another piece in my lineup, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, again, the 4 o'clock games are pretty decent here. So San Francisco and the Cardinals, 48.5 total, but it's going to be all San Francisco. So again, pick your poison. Who's going to be there? Uh, Definitely going to lock in Christian McCaffrey, even in cash. I'm going to pay up for him. I'm going to make him a priority, just because Cardinals are horrible against the run. He does so much in this offense. I think that he's definitely, I wouldn't say he's a cheat code, but at 9-3, like you're just gonna get so much out of him. And Mitchell's out, so he's just gonna be on the field the whole time. Brock Purdy's in play. Um, Samuel and Ayuk. I think I favor Ayuk more here with this matchup against Cardinals, but Samuel definitely. You're saving $500, but if you want to pay up the 500 for Samuel, that's fine. Kittle's definitely the fourth option, so probably not going to look too much to him. And then the San Francisco defense is going to be hard to get up to if you're playing in a stack. But if it's a one-off in GPP and you're playing some other cheap pieces, like if you're stacking the Giants and have like San Francisco defense, that could work for you. Arizona side, really don't like anything. Kyler Murray, if I'm against this D, I don't like it. Connor, I don't like it. The wide receivers are all banged up. I don't like anything really there, and you might have like all of them back, so that's going to water things down more. So McBride's the only thing that I'd really look at for Arizona. Commanders and Rams, 50.5 total. This is probably, if we didn't have the Dallas and Buffalo game, that's going to be like super competitive and pretty high scoring, even though they have some weather there. This is probably where you want to target. Both quarterbacks are in play here. Definitely favor Stafford. Think he's going to be either here or Purdy with my cash quarterback. Starting with the Commanders, Howell, who's going to be throwing the ball everywhere. So GPP, definitely a good pick. Gibson has the backfield to himself with Brian Robinson out. So, and none of the rest of the guys really did much. So he's probably only gonna get 15 DK points, but that's fine. At 5.2, it's a nice price point, and he's really cheap on FanDuel too. Makes a lot of things work. Wide receivers, pick which if McLaurin or Samuel. I'm probably gonna go Samuel and save 1,000. It seems like they throw the ball so much that all of them just have pretty much the same production. So I'm fine there. Logan Thomas is a good play, and the Washington defense I'm not touching with a 10-point poll. Uh, the Rams, because they traded all the players away. So Stafford, like I said, love him here. Kyrie and Williams definitely in play here. If you can get up to him at 7.5, I'd rather pay for McCaffrey. Paying for he and McCaffrey in the same lineup is hard, but he might be a nice pivot off McCaffrey in cash. And get you about almost 2K in savings there to go other places. Cup and Nakua, I'm going Cup. It seems to be recovered and had a good game last week finally. So Nakua's been banged up with different things, but Demarcus Robinson, because it looks like Atwell's going to be out, he had a big role last week. He's only 3. 6. I think it will be one of the most popular players. I think he and Zeke might be the most popular players, ownership wise on the slate. So I'll definitely have some of him. And Higby, I'm not touching the tight end situation. Rams defense definitely could be in play also because Washington gives up so many sacks to Howell. He just doesn't get the ball out of his hands fast enough, and his offensive line isn't great with pass blocking. Final game, Dallas and Buffalo. Could be some rain and some winds here, but hopefully not. Hopefully they hold off because you really want to see a decent game here. Dak's just been on fire. Better at home, but I think he'll be fine here. Pollard's been catching some balls out of the backfield, but I think he's still more of a GPP play. I'd rather pair Dak with Lamb or Cooks, Jake Ferguson. Dallas D, they're really good. Buffalo has shown signs of struggling at times, so I think in a GPP they could be in play, but I wouldn't play them in cash. And Buffalo side, Allen, I'll take. Cook has really come out as a running back, although like they still give like Murray and like Johnson some carries, and sometimes even in the red zone. I don't get it. Just make Cook the future guy. He's really talented, and Diggs, Gabe Davis should be in play. Not really touching the other ones with Kincaid and Knox both back. I know Knox has had an injury designation, but I think he's going to be fine. Kincaid really with Knox back didn't lose anything out of the offense. I think he kind of established his role while Knox was out. So I think that Kincaid's fine, but Knox is still a red zone target, and he's dropped down to like 2.7 for price, so that's fine. And Buffalo defense, I think some people are going to play just because they're really cheap in the matchup and with the weather. So I have them listed as best buy, but I really don't have too much exposure to them. So look at positions quick. Uh, Paying up Dak, Allen, Mahomes. If mid range, Purdy, Howell, Fields, Stafford, Mayfield, DeVito for a cheaper one. Not playing two or Ritter or Zappi. Stroud is out. Paying up for running back, CMC or Kyron Williams. Kamara and Barkley would be other options there. Pollard, White, Bijan, Robinson, and Henry. I like that range. Henry more on FanDuel, but the cheap range I love here. Zeke Elliott, Gibson, Spears, Hubbard with the rain, maybe. I kind of like Spears a little bit more. And then fading a Kanye with the turf toe, Ford with a tough matchup, Connor against 49er, and the Houston guys against Tennessee pass or run defense. Wide receiver, if I'm paying up Lamb, Samuel, Cup, Diggs. If I'm in the mid range, IQ, definitely Rice, Hopkins, and Evans, but the 5 to 6K range is really nice here too with Wilson, Cooper, McLaurin, and Dubs, and then this sub 5K range with Reed, Douglas is back for Patriots, Samuel, and DeMar Robinson. Probably going to have 3 wide receivers out of there just to try to get some McCaffrey and a key wide receiver in cash games. For tight end, like I said, McBride is the one if I'm going to run back anything with Arizona, and if I'm going to pay up, Kelson, Kittle are in play. Jujuko, Ferguson, and Kincaid are in play in the medium. The cheap one, Komet, Logan Thomas, and Pitts are good, but like I think I'm going to hammer this like 3.5 below. Like Wakano, Kraft, and Otten are a really good plays to fill in, even if my utility, if I'm trying to pay up for some other pieces that I want. New England, I'm punting on for is the best buy there. Buffalo is really cheap. Defense, they're just cheap because of their matchup. If you're paying up Miami or the 49ers, punts are Jets in Carolina, and in play are the Rams and Cleveland, and avoiding New England and Arizona and Washington. And on the bottom, you can see the games that are stacking. So let's look at the Bills and get you underway for the weekend. Stafford or Purdy, take your pick there for quarterback. CMC and Elliott as my running backs. Reed from Green Bay. Love the role he has. Demarcus Robinson for the Rams. He's just with out has a really decent role as the third wide receiver there, and should be able to pay off his price tag. And then I'm going to pay up for one. So either Cup, Debo, or Ayuk, whoever you want to pair with your quarterback and the New England defense, and then probably taking some cheap tight ends to fill in the tight end and flex position to make that all work. GPP, Dak, and Spears. Diggs and Lamb, just going to kind of play the Dallas Bills game, crafted tight end, Carolina or the Jets for my defense. The only difference on FanDuel is I can get to Henry and with Gibson in there. Um, for the GPP, and it makes it work a little better. So if you have any questions, put in the chat below. Hit me up at MegaRower31 on Twitter. If you want more information on FSI DFS, you can go into the description of the video, and you can go to our website and see all our packages. And stay tuned for some holiday deals, gifts coming from us starting on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So, check back for that information. Check our social media also on X. We'll post whenever we have like some free previews and things like that. So it's a little bit of a teaser there for you. So if these videos help us back, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share with your friends. We are almost up to, I think, 4,600. Next year we're going to try to get the extra 400 to get to 5,000. So if you haven't subscribed already, please do that as a holiday gift to us to help us out. Thank you so much. Hope you have a great holiday season. Enjoy the contests. Good luck in them. Try to get a Monday night video out for you for this week. And we'll try to have ones for Thursday and for the holiday season. I'll be busy at work in retail, but I'll still try to at least get the main video out, and I'll try to get the other secondary ones out too. But if for some reason I can't, have a good holiday, and you can always hit me up, like I said, on X or on Discord at MegaRower31 if you have any questions and need help with your slates. So thanks for watching. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next